Let's talk about Binance. Do you think it's possible for Binance uh, BNB token, the Binance token, will suffer the same fate as FTT, which is the FTX,
FTX, yeah.
but it's FTT is a token. So of the FTT token in the next 3 months.
I hope not, but it's looking highly likely. Business is a very interesting game. I was once told that business is war without the bloodshed and the carnage. The move the CZ did was brilliant. Chess 101, right? But the thing about often, and we've experienced this oftentimes, and I've heard this from a few people, but a person that is doing better than you will never have anything negative to say because they're too occupied with being successful. When CZ waved this flag around destroying FTX, which is brilliant, you have to make sure when you do that your own house is clean. And because this space is going to, and I said it from the beginning, the banks are going to find ways to take the space over. I hope that this coin does not fall apart and Binance does not fall apart. I'm not anti all crypto, just as a person who actually trades, like I actually trade for a living. There are certain things that you can see that are not clear. And I said it before, even with Sam, when they were saying he was doing this arbitrage and taking Bitcoin from Hong Kong and transferring it here, no person had ever seen him take a trade prior to. I hope the Binance does not fall apart, but I will say if you are in this coin, you probably should get out now before shit hits the fan.
What makes you say that? Binance, so just to give some reference to people, Binance is the largest cryptocurrency exchange in the world. Its coin has done tremendously well throughout the history. I mean, of course, it's taking a hit when all crypto takes hits, but throughout its time, it's done tremendously well. Binance is a highly respected cryptocurrency platform globally, and it's the biggest. So yeah, all right. So that's that. So why are you so bearish on Binance?
My favorite question. So I'll walk someone through my set of questions when I'm looking to invest in anything. Number one, what does this coin do that no other coin or entity can do in the world? Number two, if you had to put your life on the line, would you put all your money into this coin? And when I say your life, yours, your family, friends, everyone. For most people, when I get to question number two, the answer is no. I do think that there is some value there, but I think the thing that we are seeing in real time is that the transparency that we wanted and that we thought blockchain would give is not there in most. And if it's not there in the biggest companies, FTX, Binance, what's stopping the 15 other players that are 3 through 15 and then the top 100 to be running ethically as well? I think cryptocurrency at scale is an amazing industry run by a bunch of people who knew there was no regulation and they're taking complete advantage of that. So I'll ask you guys, if you had to, would you put all of your money into BNB coin? I think the answer would be no. Would you put all of your money into earn your leisure and assets of reliability? You show that day in and day out. I think often when we have to convince people of something being of incredible value, it's not. And I went through it with GameStop. I went through it with GME. AMC. I went through it with Facebook and Meta. Most of these coins don't actually provide any value.
Yeah. So I think just another part of it is that the responses that they've been getting during this time, right? So the executives from Binance, when they ask questions, obviously with FTX being the headline for the crypto space right now, the answers are really that confident. And so most people know that Binance was an investor in FTX. They had over $2 billion invested, and they sold their stake. And then that's what prompted them to say, maybe we'll bail them out. And obviously they didn't. We saw what happened to FTX.
Yeah.
But what's starting to happen is people aren't believing in the space as much, and now you're seeing withdrawals. And so it was like, oh, it's 1.2 billion. Okay, that's not even a top 5 day for us at Binance. Then it's the same day, I believe it was last Wednesday, it's 4 billion. And then it's 6 billion the next day. And it's like,
adds up.
it started adding up, and it's like, can we withstand this type of momentum on the downside? And the answer has been, we're financially okay. Mm-hmm. Well, companies that lose that type of money in a day, usually, there's something in the underlying documentation or underlying reports that is out of state to what's happening. That's what we saw with FTX. It was like, we don't get to see it, right? We don't know what the financials look like. We just see that there's a lot of withdrawals happening. Can they continue that? I don't know. We'll see. It was down 15% in a day.
Let me do an exercise with you guys. Is Earn Your Leisure profitable?
Yes.
Notice Rashad or Troy didn't shake in their chair. And when they answered, your gut feeling told you, yeah, they're straight. They're good. Is Red Panda profitable? Yes. Am I profitable? Yes. Am I debt free? Yes. Certain times, like, we want to believe the hype of something. Like, we ever dated somebody and like we know that there was bad. Not you, Troy, because you married an amazing, great family. Me and Rashad trying to learn. Snow return Rashad's call. Don't miss out on the king. Or who's next on the list? I don't know. Whomever, right? But a lot of times, like, we'll want to believe the lie because we want to be sold the dream. I would, and honestly, if Binance and these coins worked as well as they said, I would be all into them. I know people are like, yo, stick to stocks. And no, I trade one of the hardest markets in the world. I just don't see what the value proposition is. And then also, when you don't have any protection from the banks, the hedge funds, lobbyists, the global elite, if you will, what's the real value? And I think he could have done a better job after this FTX blow up of coming out and saying, here's what our revenue looks like. Here's what our weaknesses are. Here's what the threats are. Here's what we're going to do if there is a run on our bank. Here's what we're going to do to make sure that the value of the coin stays up. Here's what the 5-year or 4-year projection of our company looks like. A lot of it is gut. The number one thing I want to tell all Black investors who watch the show, even if you don't know every fundamental thing that me or Troy or Rashad or Trap will talk about, one thing that you do know growing up in our environments in the hood, your gut instinct. My favorite quote from Bootsy about Kanye, he like, yo, I'm a street dude. You can tell them that. You can't get that over on me. So even when I was talking to Loon this past week, I'm like, bro, why you rock with me? He like, even though you ain't from the streets, you're a real one. And every time I talk to you, everything that you say, I feel that you're being honest about. Sometimes, though, we end up finessing ourselves and wanting to believe a lie that is not true. The crypto space right now is like dating Koran back in the day. Sound like a good idea, and you may get some pleasure out of it for them first 3 weeks, but you're gonna go through hell after. Shout out Eddie Winslow.
Shout out Eddie Winslow. Shout out
yeah. I don't know if it was that super. Like, I don't want to find out, but
nah. They had the video. We'll talk about that. No, but that's after.
I never saw that. Yeah, I never saw that. It was Ned.
Nah. Super.
I would say this about Binance though. I think Binance can't be compared to FTX because Binance is a way bigger operation. Is apples and oranges really. It's comparing a tugboat to a cruise ship. So I don't think that Binance is going to collapse. And if Binance does collapse, then the whole entire crypto space is pretty much done at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that is a fair comparison to compare the two.
Okay.
And I'll give Binance the benefit of the doubt because we haven't seen anything as of yet that would raise red flags.
We didn't in FTX either, though.
We didn't,
which is the scary part. Yeah.
It's like a relationship, right?
Yeah. I can't project it on them.
You can't say somebody's cheating until you start to see, you gotta see some red flags first. You see some red flags first.
Gotcha.
Now you just if you just coming up.
But back to the gut though, the intuition.
Though.
But your intuition comes from some level of red flags, right? If I'm just saying like
not always.
Yeah.
No. Sometimes you could something's not right. You may not have
feel the difference,
but you can feel it.
ladies, can you feel it? Right. So when our schedules change up and the level of affection change,
that's something's happening. Something's happening.
Or you could just feel like
you coming home late. You're not answering your phone calls. These are red flags.
When you're in the presence of it, right? You could just feel like there's something that's off. There's something, and then you start really trying to feel like, yo, something has now changed. You start looking for those red flags.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. We'll get the CEO of Binance on here. If anybody can connect the dots,
talk about it.
Let's make that happen.
Yeah, but Ian, to your point,
no, I'm serious. About
I'm dead serious.
Let me just put this out there. We have a big audience that actually watches.
Yeah.
So he actually had the cover of Forbes a few years ago. Billionaire. I believe he's from. I don't want to misquote this situation, but he's from China, I believe, or Hong Kong.
I think China.
Yeah.
If definitely would love to have a conversation with him because it's important and it's a pivotal time in crypto. So it's important to get in front of, because like you said, if people might have suspicions and they might not even be warranted. But if you're not speaking up publicly, then a snowball becomes an avalanche. So if you're listening, we would love to have you on the program. And hear your thoughts about your company and the future of cryptocurrency as a whole.
Yeah.
107.71 is where I have the coin going to.
I was just going to say to your point, Ian, like in the light of what's happened with FTX and obviously the role that they played in it, this would have been the opportune time. So if there was red flags, let me show you why we're different. Let me tell you how we're different. Let me put everything out here to show you why this is a real situation. What that was obviously fraud from everybody's perspective at this point. Let me show you why we're the number one exchange. Let me show you why this coin is legit. It would have been an opportune time rather than just saying we're financially fine.
Changpeng Zhao, he's actually a Canadian national, but he was born in China. So he's from Chinese descent.
Yeah.
A Canadian national, Changpeng Zhao. Hope I'm not mispronouncing his name. Too bad. But yeah, let's talk. Let's figure it out. Let's figure that out.
My graduates from my school being Forbes, bag drop.
Bag drop.
A mic drop, bag drop.
Bag drop.